Okay, so section 6.3, page 280. Page 280, we're in section 6.3, solving proportions using cross products. As you move into Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, they're going to start really moving towards teaching you how to solve proportions using cross products. You'll start to see the algebraic method and the equivalent ratios method less and less, and that's because they don't always work. Okay, sometimes it's not practical to use those methods, but cross products works every time. Okay, so that's why it's usually the default method for solving proportions. All right, so what does cross products mean? Okay, you don't have to write this down, but what you see in red here, okay, is basically what you're multiplying. You're multiplying the numbers across from each other in a ratio. So 3 times 10 is being multiplied, and then 6 times 5 is being multiplied. All right, and we see this in example 1 when it asked me to determine whether or not the ratios form a proportion. Well, here I'm not really solving for anything. I'm simply trying to figure out if these ratios form a proportion. Remember, a proportion means that two ratios are equal. They're equal. So how do I know if they're equal? Well, I'm going to multiply their cross products. So everybody together, I want you to get out your calculators and multiply with me these cross products. 9 times 34 gives me 306. So that means if 6 times 51 is 306, then it's a proportion. If it's any other number, then it's not a proportion. So what is it? What's 51 times 6?
306.
It's 306. It's 306. So I would say yes. Now, on your homework tonight, you must show me what that number is once you multiply. You can't just say yes or no. So actually multiply it out. If it's the same, it's yes. If they're different, it's no. All right, let's do the next one. 12 times 50 is 600. Okay, so if 32 times 20 is 600, then it's a proportion. If it's any other number, then it's not. So what is 32 times 20? 640. So since they're different numbers, I'm going to draw a line through the equal sign. That means not equal, and I'm going to say no. All right, so 5 times 120 is 600. 30 times 20 is 600. So it's yes. All right, who got that right? 600 equals 600. Okay, first section of your homework right there. Or, yeah, I think it is the first section. All right, so that's example 1. We're halfway done. Okay, now in example 2, now we're going to write and solve a proportion. So again, we have to make sure that we're comparing the same thing on both sides of the ratios in order to form a true proportion. All right, I like to write it basically how I read it. So I see the hair growth first, so that's going to be 0.7 over 2. And then the other side has to match. Do I know how much it grew? Yes, I do, 14. But I don't know how long it took, so that's going to be my x. All right, and now I can do my cross products. What is 0.7 times x? 0.7x. And then what's 14 times 2? 28. Divide by 0.7, both sides. Okay, x equals what? What's 28 divided by 0.7? 40. And then don't forget, since it's a word problem, we need to label.
So we just put 0.7 on the both of them? Okay.
Yeah, we divide because 0.7 and x, that's multiplication. We have to do the opposite to solve for x, so we divide both sides. All right, so that's how we would write and solve one of these using cross products. Okay, so now let's look at basically a little bit more like it's going to look on your homework and your quiz and your test. You're going to see a proportion like this, and you'll just be asked to use cross products to solve the proportion. All right, so what do? Well, 18 times t and 42 times 3. So what's 18 times t? 18t. And what's 42 times 3? What's 42 times 3?
42 times 3, 126.
126. Now how do I solve for t?
Divide 18 under both of them.
Divide both sides by 18. T equals 7. And I box it in. All right, I want you to go ahead and solve the other 3. All right. So, okay, so 16 over p equals 10 over 45. What'd you get?
72.
All right, let me switch over to... Okay, so p equals 72, and then b equals 42, and z equals 270. Did you get those? Who got all 3? Who got all 3? Awesome, you guys are great. Okay, good job. All right, now I want to give you 2 more problems. These are going to be similar to the more difficult ones on your homework. We're still using cross products, except now, remember when y'all were asking me about distributive property? You have to do a little bit of distributive property here. So I want to give you a minute. Last hour, I don't think anybody got this one right first. But the second problem, a lot of them got it right. Okay, so let's just see. Let's see how far you can get. And then we'll go over it.
I know how to do this.
All right, so we need to do cross products. 36 times x plus 5 equals 972 because we multiply 54 times 18. Okay, we did our cross products. Now I do the distributive property. 36x, then multiply 36 times 5, which is what a lot of people forgot to do. Plus, yes, 36 times 5, plus 180 equals 972. And now I solve this like a 2-step equation. Okay, subtract 180 from both sides, divide by 36, and I get 22.
I don't remember that.
I get 22. Okay, so it's a blend of a lot of things that you've already learned. Listen, guys, distributive property, solving 2-step equations, and now cross products. It's a combination. That's why it's a more challenging problem. You have 2 of these on your homework. Now look at your papers. Do you see maybe where you messed up? Do you see where you missed it? Do you think you could do one now and get it right? Okay, here we go.
I got the first
Can we
one.
hold actually no. Oh my. Can we hold
All right, here we go. Solve it, guys. 75 times 15 minus x equals 675. Did my cross product. 75 times 115 is 1125 positive. 75 times negative x is negative 75x. Equals 675. What do I do now?
subtract 11?
Subtract 1125, which gives me a negative number. Now I divide both sides by negative 75, and I get a positive 6. A lot of you got it. Good job. Good job. Okay, if you understand that, that's everything you need to know for 6.3.
I know what I